Hi, this is Shaun from Dublin TEFL, and this video will take you through some short, simple procedures to help your students develop their decoding ability when listening. Have you ever had that experience when teaching listening that students may be very confused, find it very difficult? If you're using questions, they can't get a lot of the questions right, and then when they look at the transcript, the tape script, or subtitles, if you're using those, there's this look of, oh, that's what he said. Oh, well, I understand that. Basically, the issue here then is a problem with decoding ability. When they see the words written down, they have no problem with the vocabulary, they have no problem with the grammar. What they do have a problem with is matching all the sounds that are going into their ears, matching those sounds with the English that they know. So you've got a problem with decoding. How can you help your students with that ability, with those decoding processes? What about using questions for gist, questions for detail, comprehension questions like that, questions for specific information? Are these kind of questions going to help your students with their decoding ability? Well, no, sadly not. These questions are very popular, useful for testing, perhaps, students' ability to extract information, but it's not going to help them develop that ability to match the sounds to that English they know. So what can we do? Well, simply have your students write down what they think they heard. You can do this in many different ways, but an easy way that you're probably used to as a teacher is to use some kind of gap fill task. Have your students write down between 2 and say 6 maximum words in a gap in a short extract from the transcript. You can do this on a handout, be it a paper handout, online, or you can do it face-to-face on a board, or simply having students write it down on a piece of paper. Maybe you're in a one-to-one setting and you can simply do it as you're listening with very, very little preparation. Let's look at some examples. This is a favourite clip of mine about banking in India, and you're going to hear a guy talking about India trying to go cashless and just use other forms of payment when shopping. Let's have a little listen to the clip.
I'm here in Mumbai, where queues like this outside banks have become a common sight, and that's the story across the country. Last week, the Indian government announced that 500 and 1,000 rupee notes would be completely abolished. So I want to find out how far I can get without a single penny in my wallet.
Okay, so here's 3 different gap fills that you could make to accompany that very short clip about banking in India. Here's gap fill number 1. So this one targets key information. This will not help with decoding. Here's gap fill number 2. Now this one focuses on vocabulary. Maybe this is vocabulary that you want your students to learn or remember. Maybe it's collocations. This won't help with decoding either, as good as it is for highlighting useful vocab. Here's gap fill number 3. So this one targets phonology. This is the type of gap fill that can help your students with their decoding ability. You get them to focus on how words that they know actually sound when they're listening. So when they're all squashed together, often said rapidly and maybe with unfamiliar accents. Okay? Now, you don't need to do all of this all of the time, and you don't need to completely change everything you're doing, but a little tweak, little and often, getting students simply to write down what they think they heard, and the teacher to listen and try and address some of the problems and work out why your students think they heard certain things that weren't there. And that's it.